Hi everyone, I'm Andrew Bryan, and this is the Persuasive Speech. All right, so waking up in jail, watching the election on TV in the common room is hard. And to know that I didn't have a say in who will make decisions for me while I'm in jail is hard. Just because I made a mistake, this right should not be allowed to be taken away from me and all who have felony convictions. I'm still a human being. 1.8 million people are denied the chance to partake in elections in the United States every 4 years due to this law. Disenfranchments or voter disqualifications is the right to vote of a special person which is preventing them the right to vote. And felonies or more serious convictions have laws in place that don't allow them to vote if they have one of their records, and this can last during a period or even longer, after or for the rest of your life. But is this who we are? Is this something we should revisit? Living in these tough times, we should remember that being human, we make mistakes. But not being able to vote should not be lost forever because of a mistake you made. So people have argued that people who commit felonies have broken the social contract and have thereby given up their right to participate in a civil society. Well, let me tell you a story. So about 6 years ago, I was young, stupid, and not in the right state of mind. I was drinking and was making lots of mistakes. And I got behind the wheel of a vehicle with a friend, and I wrapped that car around a telephone pole. And I was charged with a felony conviction. And by the grace of God and all the powers in the universe, it was dropped down to a misdemeanor. But quickly, let me explain that this has shaped my life for the better. Today, 6 years ago, or just about, I have completely changed my life, and after that experience, it has changed and for the better, and I am not the same person I was 6 years ago. So learning this should be a part of our society. Otherwise, we cannot grow and evolve as human beings. That's what makes it so much better. We have to be able to learn from our mistakes and take action. I was fortunate enough to have the willpower to change myself and work full-time and finish my degree. Not everyone's story is going to be exactly the same. Some are worse and better. And one thing is the same, and that is that we are all on a path. Sometimes that path will have different obstacles, but as a society, we shouldn't judge or look down on somebody because they made a mistake. Also, some people make more severe mistakes like murder or other things. But yes, we mess up, but you should still have a voice, and that should never be silenced. According to the Colleges of Law, edu, a law student, Sarah Swisher, in September 2019 wrote, "There is no constitutional right to vote sounds like the beginning of a Margaret Atwood novel, but unlike other rights listed in the Constitution, such as the right of the people to keep and bear arms in the Second Amendment, or the right to a speedy and public trial in the Sixth Amendment. The Constitution may not explicitly give U.S. citizens this beloved right to vote. So if there is no constitutional right to vote written down by our forefathers, why is it important to revisit this idea that we should allow people with convictions the right to vote? Some might say that they lost their right to vote and should forfeit it because it is a privilege in the United States as citizens, not a right. But it should be a right. If you are born in this country and you pay taxes, you completely settle your convictions, you should have the right to vote again in our society. Everyone's voice matters no matter what you did, and you shouldn't lose your voice to help shape the country. First, I will talk about why your rights get taken away after you commit crimes. Why are rights voting so sacred that they are taken away? So according to the NCSL.org, in June 2021, it has been a common practice in the U.S. to make felons ineligible to vote, and in some cases permanently, by a state-by-state cases, and starting to try and change, and it depends on what state you live in. But currently in the District of Columbia, Maine, and Vermont, felons never lose their right to vote ever, and even while still being incarcerated. Courts could be involved in certifying that sentences have been completed and that no change charges remain, active and pending after being released from prison, and should be able to get your voting rights back. But it has been a slow process to get many more states to get on board. But according to Courtney Colony, a CNBC news reporter, she states that this is a key civil rights issue of our time. And over 5 million Americans could not vote last election due to having felonies on their records. But let's go back to my story and think, if I was convicted and lost my right to vote and I had a felony on my record, that could damage my future forever in this country. Say goodbye for me to getting a good job, possibly, not to mention losing my civil liberties to be able to partake in my future as well, not getting into the nursing program that I needed to be able to get into. And the disenfranchisement of former felons also disproportionately affects people of color, which, according to Leah Aiden, the Deputy Director of Litigation at the NAACP Legal Defense and Education Fund, if you can't vote, you do not have a voice, and that is why it is being stripped from you. You commit a crime and you should be punished. But why? If you did your time and were also maybe like myself, happened years later and learned your lesson, paid all your fines, you should be able to get your rights back and start fresh. Some people may never be able to get their rights back again, and some will have to pay fines and try to get their ballot back again. And if that is the case, I wouldn't even want to vote, because that is ridiculous. Denying a prisoner's right to vote violates the rights and concepts of self-government that our forefathers cherished. And in recent years, the Supreme Court have affirmed a variety of constitutional rights for prisoners. According to Justice Earl Warren, who wrote in 1958, Trop versus DeLunes, citizenship is not a right that expires upon misbehavior. That is also why laws can be changed. And if some states are doing this, why can't more of us can do this as well? And try and set up some type of committee to help get these people and their convictions and their rights back. So no matter where you have been, what you have, I will always be here for you. Felony and disenfranchisement laws stop millions of Americans from voting due to their felony convictions. Those excluded from this are the people that are people serving felony probation or parole, and 11 states, some or all people who have completed their sentence. These disenfranchisement laws have been closely documented for years by advocacy organizations and lawmakers. The de facto disenfranchisement of people legally eligible to vote in jails has received less attention because these people have been incarcerated and held more severe crimes and convictions, which does not always see the light of day, or help from people who can do something about it with the power and authority. But in the United States of America, we have to remember that this is the best country in the world with so much freedom. That is why so many are willing to cross borders, leave their homelands where they have left everything that they know and to love dear at heart, and to come to this land because they are given a second chance, or so I thought. You can relocate yourself here and start over. As soon as you get a felony, though, your life will change forever. You can't vote, and you lose a lot of your rights. But I think we should change this, evolve, and start to recognize that this would benefit everybody. Not only would it benefit certain minority groups that are being taken over, but be able to be stripped of these rights is basically our civil liberties being violated as well. We're still citizens. Sometimes these citizens make mistakes, but shouldn't be punished for it. And forever, that is why I think that felons should have the right to vote. All right, thank you so much, and have a good night. Bye.